Hi, what's up guys? This is DurianP Productions. Today, we are going to check out a Huawei Matebook D15. This is a China version with a Ryzen 5-3500U, 8GB of RAM, 256GB of solid-state drive, and 1TB of hard drive. It's a Linux version from China, and we have already converted into Windows. In the box, you got the charger, the cable, and also the laptop. Additionally, there is a manual in Chinese. On the hand, it feels substantial on hand. It's pretty wide. The Huawei logo is in the center. It's very reflective. It feels pretty good. At the back side, there's a random logo, a pretty long window for wind to enter in, with two sandbars on each side. The fan axis is at the back. On the left side, there is one Type-C port for charging, one Type-A USB, and an HDMI for video output. On the other side, there are two USB Type-A ports, one headphone jack. It feels pretty similar with the Matebook 15, which is a cheaper alternative of the Matebook D series. The metallic chassis feels okay on hand, but definitely it is not as solid as the high-end models from Huawei, such as the Matebook 14, Matebook 13. On the other side, it is better than many budget laptops such as Acer, Swift series, or Aspire series, or probably some HP laptop or the Dell Inspiron 3000, 5000 series. You can open the laptop with a single hand if you practice a big caution. The screen is a nano bezel screen, except for the bottom side, which has a Huawei logo. The camera is hidden in the keyboard. The keyboard is pretty decent for its price range. It's definitely a good keyboard in its price range. One of the downside is that it does not have a numeric part keyboard in the layout. I do not like the numeric keyboard, but for some, such as accountants, it's basically a must. The two logos on the panel, there is a Ryzen one and another a Huawei Share logo. Do not remove the Huawei Share sticker unless you do not use Huawei phones. The touchpad is actually pretty good. You can press mostly on the touchpad, which is similar to MacBook. It also has fingerprint sensor on the power button, which is a convenient feature. Let's now turn it on. Under the camera, you can see some obvious backlight leaking. While it's not actually so strong in real sense, the phone camera of mine probably exaggerated the bleeding of the LCD IPS screen. Everything is pretty snappy on this laptop, such as opening Windows Store, the email, the web browser. It is pretty snappy. Not as snappy as the fastest one, but definitely it is on the good side. Generally, it will be very good for those who want to have a decent laptop to do everyday work. It would be good enough if you are from developing countries and want to find a laptop for your everyday task, everyday work, programming, CAD, or just studying. Let's just check out a video from YouTube to check out its video and audio quality. It's not the laptop's fault to serve the web very slow. It's because during the COVID-19, we are having some problems in internet. The sound quality and the screen quality is pretty decent for its price range. Everything is, well, more than acceptable. Well, it's definitely not great. The sound is pretty clean, but it does not have some special effect such as good clarity, high level of bass. The screen, the same. It's very good. The viewing angle is good, but it's less contrastive. The color gamut is quite limited if you are doing professional photo or video editing. Well, it's a good display, good sound quality, but it's not premium experience. It employs an AMD core 8-thread processor from AMD, Ryzen 3500U. It's a bit slower than current Intel processors, also a bit less power efficient, but it's significantly cheaper than current Intel versions. The one downside about this laptop is the battery. It's only 42 watt-hours. Considering the discharge rate around 7 to 8 watt in idle situation, you can only achieve 6 hours of usage. This tells you that if you are running something or working with this laptop, you probably end up using the laptop about 4 to 5 hours, which is just half a day. You definitely need a power cord with you if you are going out, doing some work or study. The RAM is 2-channel, 8 GB in this one. The monitor is from AUO in Chinese Taipei. It's a 45% NTSC gamma display from the official website. The solid-state drive is a 256 GB Samsung PM981. It is a very good solid-state drive from Samsung. The solid-state drive is from West Digital. We like it because West Digital is very stable, better than Toshiba or Seagate. The worst part about this laptop is about the Realtek or the crap brand wireless card. Every time when you have a Realtek wireless card, then the internet speed of this Realtek device will be slower than your iPhone as well as any of your Android phones. Basically, it ranked in the lowest ranking if all your devices are queuing for the internet speed at home. Now, we're having COVID at home, the speed is low, and the Realtek is really a problem. The benchmark is pretty decent. The ASSD is around 1.7K, which is very good for a small solid-state drive. The CPU and battery can give you a 654 CB, which is very high, and the OpenGL performance is also pretty good, around the level of MX 150. The Blackmagic Raw speed test shows the actual performance to edit raw videos. It's significantly slower than any current up-to-date Intel CPU, but it's still workable with a 9 frames per second AK CPU and 16 frames per second AK OpenCL. Most of the daily 4K or your daily 1080p videos are definitely editable on this device, suggesting you have enough RAM space. Let's check out the stability and thermal conditions of the laptop. It's 37 Celsius degree in idle condition with a 7 watt battery discharge rate. Now the stress test to the CPU has started. The frequency in the start is around 3.1 something gigahertz. It's very stable. And the battery discharge rate is around 30 watts, which suggests that there is 20 plus watts to the CPU alone. After 10 minutes, the temperature is still good, just a bit more than 70 Celsius degree. The battery discharge rate even goes higher, around 40 watts, which suggests that there is at least 30 watts on the CPU alone. The frequency has hardly dropped any. From the period, it's still around 3.1 GHz, which shows that the performance is very good on this laptop. One of the reasons why the laptop has a good thermal performance today is probably that our icon is shooting straight forward to the laptop. Please bear in mind, in the future, if you want to have a cooler laptop, skip all the fan coolers, water coolers, just buy an aircon and go straight to your laptop. Now, let's stop the stress test and then start the CPU plus GPU dual stress test. Now let's start both the CPU and GPU stress test. There are some problems in our GPU Z version, while the CPU is now locked around 2.2 GHz. The battery discharge rate is around 37 watts with a temperature around 60 Celsius degree only. Let's keep the system running for 5 minutes. And basically, we see a very minimum change in all parts. The battery discharge rate is still 30 plus watts. The temperature, 60 Celsius degree. It's really a bonus for this Huawei laptop and also my aircon. The downside is the CPU. While 80% of the time is 1 point something or 2 point something gigahertz, while there's sometimes it drops to 0.4 or 0.9 gigahertz. The same goes to the GPU. The GPU is also very slow, approximately less than half of the performance of the maximum. Thereafter, basically, this is far worse than its optimum performance, and you cannot expect the Vega series graphic cards to behave as good as an NVIDIA discrete graphics. You should definitely get a standard power version of Ryzen, such as 3550H series AMD, to play games, or you simply skip all the AMD U series processors. AMD has definitely packed more than enough chips inside a limited power envelope. If you have 60-watt power envelope, then it will definitely be a great one. There's nothing too much to write about. Everything on this laptop is just good enough for everyday use. There's nothing problematic, nothing impressive during the hands-on. So just go ahead and buy it if you think it's a good buy. That's all.